Man, I was just minding my own business. So they gather me around. They put on some soft Marvin Gaye music, light up a few candles, sprinkle a little bit of rose petals all over the floor, and they show me this photo. How many miles of curvature do you think would be in it? Say you believe in the globe. Put down your answers. How many miles of curvature should we be seeing right now in this photo? Just look at it. Don't do any calculations. Just look. How much curvature is there? I mean, if you believe in a globe, you might guess. I mean, it looks about 2 or 3 miles at best. Maybe 4 miles of curvature, if anything. I mean, to me, it looks completely flat. But I mean, if you believe in a globe, go ahead and guess how many miles of curvature you see in this photo. Okay, so now keep that number in your head, and we're going to find out how much curvature there actually is. So this photo was taken at 200,000 feet in the air above sea level. That's about 37.9 miles in the air. We go to a horizon calculator to find the distance to the horizon. We come out to 549.2 miles to the horizon. Then from there, we can use that distance to the horizon to find out how much curvature there should be at that horizon. So remember your number. What did you say? It was 2 or 3, maybe 4 or 5 miles. I mean, look at this photo again. Tell me how many miles of curvature there is. So I take that 549.2 miles, the distance to the horizon. I square that, multiply that by 8. 8 inches per mile squared, right? That's how you find the curvature of the Earth using globe math. Find out it's roughly 38.1 miles of curvature. That's nearly 40 miles. Look at this photo again and tell me you said 40 miles. You saw 40 miles of drop. Is that what you saw? Is that what you guessed? Even if you believe in the globe, I don't think you guessed that high of a number. This is my point. You can't even believe your eyes anymore. Because what NASA says, what the occult sciences say, goes in your mind. How much curvature was in there? Do you know how much 40 miles is? 38.1 miles. Do you know how much curvature we should be seeing? A lot more than this. Because it's completely flat. It's completely flat at 200,000 feet in the air without a GoPro. So I don't know what to tell you if you see curvature in this photo, because there is none. There is none. The curvature is 0. Sorry to break it to you. If you're looking at this photo and you see curvature, your mind is playing tricks on you. I just drew a straight line, perfectly horizontal, 90 degrees, parallel with the horizon. Drew it straight across the screen. I don't know where you see the curve. Where's the 38 miles of curvature that we're supposed to see, that they tell us is there, but it's untraceable? You can't find it at 200,000 feet in the air. We should be seeing something, but we're not. The ISS stays perfectly temperatured even though there's no air conditioning. So obviously, something's not right here. And if you want a more detailed explanation of what I'm talking about, watch Brian Mullins, Balls Out Physics, Episode 4, The ISS Satellites in the Thermosphere. And you'll understand it perfectly. Oh, take a look at this photo, dumb motherfucker. Some reason it's 72 degrees and sunny in the ISS where they film in colored shirts and long pants. But meanwhile, the temperature is 800 to 1700 degrees outside. Do you know how hot that is? I mean, is there an invisible force field around it? Because that's your logic. I mean, shouldn't Scott Kelly be a honey baked ham right now? Shouldn't he? He was in space for a year in that temperature. I mean, how good is metal as a conductor? You tell me. Metal attracts the heat. It's a great conductor. So help me understand. And I show them this.
Well, it was the 1980s, so the music was different, the hairstyle was different, the clothes we wore were different than today, but probably in 5 or 10 years it'll be the same. And in school, I was just like you, probably all of you there. I tried my best. I didn't always succeed, didn't always do well, but I put my best effort into school. Math and science were kind of my favorite subject. I didn't really like English in reading too much, but I've since grown out of that, and I enjoy reading now. And I played a lot of sports. And all of that happened in a little town called York, Maine, across the United States from where we're talking to you right now. York, Maine, across the United States from where we're talking to you right now. From where we're talking to you right now. You right now. From where we're talking to you right now. You right now.
Boom, motherfuckers. Boom. There goes your authority. Oh, what is that? Hmm. Mm-hmm. And they be crying their asses off. This one's fake. NASA. NASA. Uh, how the fuck do we see it, stuttering ass motherfucker? Hell yeah, that's a red flag. Now, how long we been in space? What is it, 60 years now? Almost 60 fucking years. Can you believe that? And I say, no, that can't be. That's impossible. And they're like, oh, well, actually, this equation predicts that the sun is 93 million miles away. And then I'm like, oh. Is that a little smudge on the screen? Or is that a goddamn hot spot, right? Directly over the sun? Now tell me, Mr. Equation, how that's possible with the sun that's 93,000,000 miles away. Tell me, how can there is it like a laser beam in the center? The sun is it's just a laser beam and that's what produces that hot spot? And you call me crazy, right? That's what it's all about. Just calling people names. Yeah, you're crazy too. And then we get to the sun rays through clouds. Yeah, that's interesting. Because the last time I checked, the angle in which the sun was hitting the earth is 90 degrees. Do you see those blue lines? Those lines are parallel with the sun rays, and they form angles. And those angles are not 90 degrees. So maybe something's wrong. Is the sun lying? The sun might be lying to us, right? The sun's a liar, right? That's what it is. Or maybe, just maybe NASA is lying to us. Google is lying to us. Maybe the sun isn't 93 million miles away. Because that's what we see. And on the right is what we should be seeing. 90 degrees, evenly lighting up the earth, right? We should see those sun rays coming straight down, forming 90-degree angles with the water. Do you see that happening? No, I don't. I sure as hell don't see that. So then I'm going to teach you about what's really going on. This is reality, right? This is reality. And then where you live is in the section called distorted reality, right? Because in our reality, the sun is close, like it appears, like it measures. And in your reality, ain't nothing makes sense whatsoever. So in the actual reality, the sun moves around the equator. And that's why places on the equator are hot. Do you see how that's possible now? Because it ain't possible on the fucking globe, that's for sure. That's for fucking certain. So which way is north? Which way is south and east and west? On the flat earth model, you might ask. So the north is the North Pole. That's in the center. The sun and the moon revolve around the North Pole on the equator. The region inside of the equator is the northern hemisphere, right? And then below the equator is the southern hemisphere. Everything makes sense. Okay. And I don't want to sound condescending or anything, but it's really close to the globe model, so it shouldn't be that fucking difficult to understand. If you want to go west, you move clockwise around the equator. If you want to go east, you move counterclockwise. Okay. This all makes sense. So now we know the sun is moving on the equator, locally, about 3,000 miles away. And I'm going to highlight 2 points on the equator, Middle Africa, and then a top sliver of South America, okay? See how it's the same? The map doesn't really change. The globe just kind of bends it at the equator and forms a ball. That's all that it is. So why can't you get your head around it? So we're going to focus in on an area in South America, a country called Ecuador. So now we're looking at Ecuador. We have the equator going straight through it, represented by the white dots. You can see Ecuador on the flat earth map and the globe map in the bottom right corner. And now you must be thinking, how is the equator a circle? Wouldn't that mean the sun would be moving away from us? If you're in Ecuador, it's moving away, right? 12 p.m. is the biggest it gets. It's right above your head. It's the closest to the sun. And then as it moves away, it gets smaller, right? That's what we're predicting. That's our hypothesis. Okay. So now we're going to test our hypothesis. And we're going to go to Ecuador. And we're going to see if it gets smaller. And if it does, that means we have a local sun. That's how science works. We test our hypothesis with empirical evidence. So now we're going to look at this video. This is our test, okay? Yeah, okay. Just like we predicted, it's getting smaller. Wow. Replay that. Yeah, I don't know how that's possible on a globe. This doesn't make sense on a globe. Yeah, that's tiny. Do you see? Do you see what's on the screen right now? Tell me you see what's on the screen. Okay, so that's your proof. Do you see in the red ring? It's all white. I wonder why that is. Maybe because the sun is local and that it's right above it. Yeah, maybe. Okay, that might be it. I don't know. And then you follow the orange little dots, and then you can see some shadow. Why is that? Why isn't it all just white? Or why isn't it all just little shadows? Right? Hmm. And then in the yellow dot, it gets even darker. So it seems like the further away you get from the sun, the darker it gets. Why would that matter with a sun that's 93 million miles away? Shouldn't we see the Earth being illuminated evenly? Shouldn't we? That's what they teach us. I don't know. I don't really care. All I know is that the sun ain't 93 million miles away. All I know is that somebody's lying to us. So I'm calling BS on the curvature of the Earth because there is none. I'm calling BS on Scott Kelly, who should be a honey-baked ham. BS on the ISS orbiting around in an oven. BS on the sun being 93 million miles away. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been deceived.